I'm very young, but I feel like I grew up really quickly. She gave me like extreme validation, like what every single thing you're feeling is okay. And she would sort of backtrack and be like, okay, well, look what's happening in your life. Of course, you're feeling this way. And that was huge, even though my parents were always really good at listening to me. And I had never felt validated in a way that she was like, look what you're having to deal with. You are having to take care of people in your life that should be taking care of you. And that for me was a huge point because I realized, it's okay that I feel this way. My dad has pretty debilitating anxiety. And so, he sort of helped my mom say, this is what I wish I would have had growing up. And I think that was first therapy for him, which has been a huge part of my life since then. And so I was really lucky to right away just get that help. And I never felt like, it was definitely not something that I shared with friends at the time. Because it felt embarrassing, that my brain wasn't functioning the way everyone else was. But at home, I never felt like something was wrong with me. As a creative person, I I really need to put myself first because that's how I'm going to show up and be my designs are going to be clear in what I'm feeling, and I'm also, especially now in my life, I'm showing up for employees. So I have to be the best version of myself every single day because other people are now relying on me. But at that time, I was just trying to gasp for air, and Love Zoelle was like a breath of air for me.
You've In my opinion, in my experience, I'm learning that how I take care of myself is going to reflect in everything else that I do. So, what are the tools that you had in your toolbox, like your non negotiables of like, I'm going to show up for myself first in this way?
That time, it was still sort of trial and error for me, figuring out how to make myself feel my best every day. So at that time when I was starting, I was still trying out different morning routines and rituals and meditating to sort of see what worked best for me. And I feel like now I have a super solid routine. So things like meditating, I do every single day, twice a day, and that's like a non-negotiable for me. And then there's like other things around food. I have to plan my food day. Otherwise, I'm going to be dragging, I'm going to be cranky. And so that's something that's really important to me. But that came later. I feel like that was so much trial and error the first few years. Um, but I think it's really great to acknowledge things that you fail at daily. And I think work wise, every night I'm like, okay, what did I fail at today? And I think that's where I really find growth. For example, this week I had a sort of communication error with an employee. And that night I was like, that was a failure on my part. That was, my mistake. And for me to take that, think, okay, what could I do better? And so it won't happen again. I think that's taking something that I failed at and then turning it around and improving myself. So I think about failure daily.